Good, yo, welcome back to Niner Wire. I'm your host, Sam, and today we're back for post-game analysis after that god-awful game. I don't really need to say much about this game, but I'm still obviously going to do this. I'm just by myself today. I got some things I have to tend to after. I'm usually with someone, but for today, I'm just going to be by myself, which I'm perfectly fine with because I really have everything I need to say. I don't think there's really much discussion for this game because I think everyone just really saw what happened this game and how we couldn't capitalize on anything, really. So, but basically how this is going to work, I'm just going to go through each position. We're going to recap what we said in pregame. We're going to look forward to next game. And we'll also, we'll talk about fantasy. I have all 49ers team. We can bring that up as well. I did that last year just for fun. I'll bring that up at the end as well again. So I hope you guys all like that. But before I get into it, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. My Instagram is at NinerWire_YT. And also, if you guys have any questions, comments, you want to share anything about the game, make sure to leave that in the live chat below. As always, I know we already have some early comments coming in. Let's just start off with how bad Jimmy Garoppolo was, man. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen from him play, dude. Like, I don't even know. I'm not like, if we won that game, I would have been shocked. We definitely, first of all, let's just put this out there right now. We definitely deserve to lose that game. That was one of the worst games I've seen in a while from this team. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo had a large part to do with that. He just looked, I think I'll just break it down really quickly. The three things that really concern me: Jimmy Garoppolo, the play calling, and the defense. The defense looked completely lost. And then you got the play calling just didn't look good really at all. There was some questionable calls on both sides of the ball. We definitely deserve to lose this game, as Niner by Nature says right there. So I'm hoping that we can rebound, but usually it's the Cardinals. I mean, I'm convinced that there's somebody in the 49ers organization that is a spy for the Cardinals. I'm dead serious. They always own us, man. And I don't know. I'm not going to put it on video because it's not really appropriate. But the EDP video where he takes the broomstick and talks about how the Cardinals are, I'll just leave it at that. Just go check that out. Just search up EDP Cardinals. That's exactly how I feel right now. And I mean, I know I made the video about how Jimmy Garoppolo is a top 12 quarterback, and I deadass consider putting that private because that game was horrible from him. That was probably one of the worst games I've seen from him. He couldn't escape the pocket, just looked lost. Throws were off by a lot. And I think, honestly, his throw had a large part to do with Kittle's injury, which we'll get into a bit later. But I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he's got to step it up if this team wants to get back to the Super Bowl. Now, we're only 0-1. Yes, I understand. But it's the things that we saw today. It was just really concerning for me personally. I mean, the defense, everything that I wasn't concerned about was the problem this game. The defense and Jimmy Garoppolo. Those are the two things I wasn't concerned about at all. And really, they just completely failed today. And so we got with Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's just go through position by position. That's how we usually like to do on this. But anyways, next position, obviously running backs. I thought Mostert, but they had the only 2 touchdowns of the game. Mostert, McKinnon, and I thought that was pretty good. So I mean, I think I'm glad to see McKinnon back in action. Mostert did really well. I think personally we could have given the ball to him a bit more, but that was also just Jimmy's horrible play. I think running backs did well. I'm usually not concerned about running backs whatsoever. So I think I'm fine with that performance. I think that's really that, and the Arizona kicking is what kept us in this game. And when something else from the other team is the reason that keeps you in the game, that's always such a concern. So I think the run game, obviously, it's usually really good. It was pretty good today. So that's what I gotta say from the run game. Wide receivers, I gotta say, it's hard for me to say anything about that because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't giving them the ball at all. Like it just wasn't working out at all. And I mean, Bourne had like running. I mean, that play to end, Peterson had him in the end zone. That's completely Jimmy G's fault. And Bourne had a can do happen here. Okay, are we back? Okay, we're back now. For some reason it was lagging for a sec. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just checking my network. I think we're all good. But anyways, what was I gonna say? We were talking about Trent Taylor. I didn't really like him in the punt returning, to be honest. I would much rather I don't know who I'd see in that. It's always kind of hard to get me a sense on that, but I just feel like he wasn't doing that much. I mean, route running, I mean, it's obviously good to see a guy like that get back on the field. So yeah, and then Dante Pettis, I don't think he was targeted at all. Maybe once or twice, I don't know. But I didn't really see anything from him, so can't really give him that much of an opinion on that. But moving on, my favorite part of this day, definitely tight ends. You got Kittle and Reed were definitely the biggest two guys there. Kittle he was good until the injury. They kind of stopped targeting him. And that kind of concerns me about the injury, like the fact that you stopped targeting him against one of the worst tight end defenses. That's another thing with the play calling that I've been really concerned about. And I mean, it's kind of carrying on from that Super Bowl where it just doesn't make sense at all. But I mean, yeah, like River said right here, both teams were sloppy. And I think we were just like by far the sloppier out of all of them. But and Kittle was a decoy after he got hurt for sure, man. I know there's a lot of comments right there, and I would love to pull all of them up, but I'm just going through this, making sure that we're talking about everything. Just reading through the comments real quick. I know there's a few comments about defense. We're just going to talk about everything right there. We need to get Ayuk into action. I mean, honestly, sometimes someone said that play calling is probably because of that. I disagree. I think Jimmy Garoppolo has a lot to do for this game. Blame's on him. This game's completely on Jimmy. Not completely, but most of this offensive game is on Jimmy for losing that. But yeah, anyways, tight ends. Kittle looked really good. Reed, I was glad to see him in action today. I'm just looking at my notification just to see if there's any press conference stuff coming out. We'll get an injury report. I know Kittle's going to be on that. I know Richie James is going to be on that. He left the game with a hamstring injury. But other than that, not too many injuries, which is good. Hopefully Kittle's okay for week 2 because I'm thinking we're going to need him after this awful performance. We're going to need everyone on the offense to step up. But tight ends, that's another possession I wasn't too concerned about. I was hoping they would do better. The Kittle injury hurt a little bit. Thanks, nothing Niner by nature. I appreciate that a lot. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get to defensive line. I know there's a ton of comments on that. I have a lot to say on that. But offensive line, I don't know. You guys probably didn't hear the reaction because I didn't say on the chat. I said on the channel like I would be really concerned if Rousseau started, and he did end up starting. I was really concerned going into the game about that, but he looked good. I mean, I didn't really see any interior line pressure from the Cardinals. I mainly saw Chandler Jones, who we know how good he is. But anyways, interior line did well. I was hoping they did well. That was one of my key guys. Just in general, just had a look at that interior line. And their Cardinals' interior D line, that was another key guy on my list, Jordan Phillips. Didn't do much, but so that tells us that the interior line's doing well. But the exterior line, I mean, McGlinchey. Here's the thing about McGlinchey is that I never get a sense of him. Like I feel like the Niners love him, but I don't see it just yet for some reason. That's probably just a me thing because everyone seems to love McGlinchey. Although Trent Williams, man, that dude is a monster. I'm just gonna say that right now. That block that went viral, that was fun to watch. So I'm hoping that he can keep it up. Interior line though, Garland will be back next week. That's gonna help us a lot. Jets really don't have that good of a defense. They didn't do too well against they did do well against the Bills today, but they were down by a lot, and I think we can definitely capitalize on that. Considering also like if the Cardinals that's always such a tough team for us. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just bounce back next week, beat the Jets. But it's rough to start off 0-1. So yeah. All right, defensive line. There are so many comments about the defensive line. You guys are really all just replicating what I'm about to say. Non-existent, period. I mean, Nick Bosa was MIA, as Adrian said. I'm looking through all the comments right now. There's so many about the defensive line. What else? There's a lot about the linebackers, so I'm going to talk about that as well. Armstead, I didn't hear his name once at all. Kinlaw, I didn't hear his name once at all either. I mean, I tweeted out, where is Kinlaw? And everyone's like, have you been watching the game? I'm like, yes, but you can't. Where is he on the field? Like, you don't know. Everyone seemed non-existent on that defensive line. besides Kerry Hyder. Kerry Hyder balled out today. I'm just going to leave it at that. He got the sack. He did a lot of pressuring against Kyler Murray. But, I mean, our run defense, man, that was awful. I mean, Kyler Murray, going into this game, I was saying that Kyler Murray is going to run it up our asses with that just being a mobile quarterback because we can never handle mobile quarterbacks. And I mean, we didn't do anything. And one of the guys I had on my key guys, D Ford, I didn't hear his name once. I don't think we even saw like a picture of him. But the defensive line was just, the guys I heard were Kevin Givens and Kerry Hyder. That's it. Oh, and Solomon Thomas. Solomon Thomas did pretty well. I'll give him that. Solomon Thomas did pretty well today. But those three guys are the three out of all our defensive line guys. Those are probably the three worst guys. And the other guys, I think it was the other five guys who were on the field. So that would be Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, DJ Jones, and D Ford. All got to step it up next game, no matter what, man. That was just I don't know what to say. I mean, the Cardinals' offensive line is not good, guys. So I mean, they got to really step it up. And another thing I want to add on, obviously I did pregame before Kentavious Street was listed inactive, but I was really surprised by that personally. I thought he would be active. I would think we would deactivate someone like Dante Johnson, that was an awful missed block on special teams. I mean, that could have swung the game, honestly. Like, I mean, they got touchdown out of that, so that didn't really work out for us. But yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I saw Kentavious Street play a little bit today. But it's all good. I mean, the rest of the defensive line was just fucking awful. So, I mean, it is what it is. Linebackers. So I want to talk about, this is the comment I want to bring up. I brought it up already. Nick Bosa was Fred Warner looked off. I mean, he was all over the place at the beginning of the game. I would say it's an okay game. I feel like this team got worse in the second half. I mean, we had a strong start with a Mostert touchdown, good stop at the beginning of the game. Just went all downhill from there. And Fred Warner did look a bit off in the the second half. Quan Alexander, though, what on earth was he doing, man? Like, I think Kyler Murray, I want to say on maybe at least 5 of those runs, and I don't even know because he ran so much against us. But Quan Alexander, he was just like, I don't even know how to describe it, man. And this is Quan, I don't know what he needs to step it up this year because I've said this so many times before. I think he's gone after this year, whether or not he does well. So if he wants to go somewhere else, if we want to trade him for a good value, he wants that good value. He's got to step it up for us this year and just like get us some good value next year. So that definitely really concerns me. Dre Greenlaw with the tip, that did look really good though. So I'm glad that happened. So yeah, cornerbacks. Oh, my AirPods. I was just having my AirPods case in my hand and just dropped it. So it's all good. But cornerbacks, I mean, Hopkins did so well. That's DeAndre Hopkins. And I got to say right off the bat, I thought he was going to get targeted a lot less, but he got targeted a lot. Just looking at some notifications. Wow, Mike Evans and Michael Thomas just not doing well today at all. I think that's probably because Mike Thomas is a bit Mike Evans, excuse me, was questionable coming into the game, doubtful on Friday. Now he played, so I mean I'm not surprised by that. But Michael Thomas, that's kind of sad. Joel, if you're watching this, I'm sorry about that. But anyways, I mean the cornerbacks, it's kind of hard for me to say. Hopkins went off, obviously, but again, that's DeAndre Hopkins. I didn't hear Sherman's name once, or Mosley's name, frankly. But, I mean, it's hard. I mean, their receivers did well, man. And that usually when your receivers did well, the cornerbacks didn't do well. So it's hard for me to say because I feel like my main focus was that defensive line. And that's like, I feel like that really showed when the defensive line's not going for this team, the cornerbacks can't get it going. So that it's obviously a huge, like the defensive line is like the heart and soul of this defense. And if they're not going to step it up, then we're not going to win any games. So it's really just all relaying back to the defensive line. So, yeah, but Richard Sherman could have stepped it up a bit more. But I think that has to do in part with the defensive line. As for safeties, though, that was probably the bright spot of our defense, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, you had Ward had a sack, Tart had a pick. We didn't see Harris or Moore in the game at all, which was nice. So yeah, and then special teams, Only thing I really got to say about that is that Dante Johnson missed block, which I kind of talked about before. Not a good look for the team. So, yeah, but that's all the position by position things. Overall, we deserve to lose the game. Like, this was an awful game. And if there's, I mean, yeah, we definitely deserve to lose the game. That's all I have to say. So, yeah, all right. Anyway, so that does it with what happened this game. So now let's take a look at the fantasy points. I did it last year. You guys seem to like it, so I'm going to do it this year again. Now this year is I'm doing it on ESPN with PPR. Last year was a bit different on Yahoo. I don't know. I think this one's a bit different on both. But I don't have all the players, by the way. So Jimmy Garoppolo somehow got 19.26 points. Does not deserve that at all. That just shows how fantasy is completely different from real life. I mean, you got Jameis Winston as the 5th best fantasy quarterback last year. So, yeah, Raheem Mostert balled out today. 25.1 points, 56 yards. He probably did, and then he had that 76-yard rush. So I think Raheem Mostert, you gotta give it to him. He really carried the offense today. Tevin Coleman, not so much. I think that he was probably limited to do the smoke, also because Mostert had the hot hand, and they wanted to get McKinnon, excuse me, in a little bit. By the way, Jerick McKinnon, gotta say they used him a lot today, and I think that's what they were hopefully doing. I mean, they used him as a running back, wide receiver. I think they might use him a lot this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him. Frankly, I gotta say, as for this performance, he didn't do as well as Mostert, but we'll see how that goes along later on. But yeah. Anyways, I feel like I'm excited to see him. I don't know if I have him on this team because I only have 16 guys, no IR spots, so I couldn't move Debo there or Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk obviously 0. I've kept in my star lineup. I don't know why because I don't need to switch it. Trent Taylor, 2 receptions, 7 yards. Did not do much today at all, other than the punt returning, which I didn't really think he did that well in. Kittle 9.3 should have done more if they weren't for that injury. Hopefully he's okay. I haven't gotten any word. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at the tweets right now. David Lombardi just said David Lombardi just summed up what I would say perfectly. I call it the way it is: lousy, inconsistent offense performance that tired out defense, which delivered essentially the same performance it did last year against Arizona. So, I mean, it was just an awful performance all around. And like I keep saying this every year, and I'm going to have to say it again, Arizona has our number. And that's why I didn't think they would win week 1 against us. Week 16, I think they're for sure going to win that game, whether or not we're the better team or if they suck. Because I think they always kill us for some reason. And you'll probably see me week 16 predict that the Arizona Cardinals are going to beat the San Francisco 49ers. I'll say it here. I'll say it later. I'll say it week 15 postgame. I'll say it week 16 pregame. And they'll probably beat the Niners week 16. So it does kind of suck for us. What on earth is this? Oh, it just said no answer for Kyler. I thought it said no answer for Kyle on something. So Kendrick Bourne, 5.4. Again, didn't do much. I think that has to do with Jimmy. And just not, he should have had a touchdown if it weren't for Jimmy making that god-awful throw. So I think Jimmy really needs to step it up. It could be just like people are saying, oh, it's just not preseason. It's just like the lack of preseason. But the Cardinals didn't have preseason as well. So, I mean, I'm not going to use that excuse because nobody had preseason. And frankly, it's just that Jimmy G looked terrible today. And that's really the reason why we lost the game, in my opinion. I mean, I said at the beginning of the episode, defense looked lost. Jimmy G sucked, and defensive line was just at nowhere. It was just nowhere. I think I said something else, but I forget what I said. But yeah, I think the Jimmy G definitely has the ripple effect on all of those two. I mean, as I said this on the stream with Jake, it starts at the quarterback. You got to have a good quarterback to get a good team, and we did not have a good quarterback today. I'm just going to say that right now. We did not have a good quarterback today. And look at the defense. We had an interception, and we only had 1 point in fantasy. So, I mean, honestly, like, fantasy is one of the worst ways to track it. I just like to do it for fun. But, yeah, 1 point. That just shows how bad the defense is. And this is a defense that's supposed to be – this is a defensive line that's supposed to be the best in the league. Front seven that's supposed to be one of the best in the league. And they shit the bed. It's as simple as that. They did absolutely terrible. I mean, yeah, they could not stop Kyler at all. So I mean, I think Jimmy G has the ripple effect on that, just leading down. You need that quarterback play to do well. He's the reason that the defense is on the field as well. We cannot stop mobile quarterbacks at all. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, you kind of get what I'm saying. I'm really just resetting everything. But yeah, all right. Where was I on the fantasy? Robbie Gold, he's on my team as well, 10 points. That's the one thing that I'm really happy about. Thank you, Robbie Gold, for that. McKinnon, 13.4. There you go. That's what you like to see right there. With that 24 yards and receiving touchdown. So there you go, right there. That's really good. What happened to the spy? I mean, I don't know. Actually, when I thought of spy, when you first said it, I was thinking of the reference I made before about the spy being in our organization. It's just like a stupid reference. But I mean, yeah, Lamar dominated us. Kyler's dominated us 3 times. Russ has done pretty damn well against us. I mean, we beat him the second game, but I honestly blame that on that offensive line. And you got to face guys like Cam Newton, who looked really good today. You got to face Kyler Murray again. You got to face Russell Wilson twice. You got to face, you got to face Haskins, who looked pretty good on the run today, if I'm being completely honest. So, and you got to face Josh Allen, one of the more mobile quarterbacks in this league. So, I mean, it's really concerning that we've never been able to figure out rushing quarterbacks. And it's just really concerning, everything about this game. Now, I'm not going to let this get in my head because obviously this is week 1. We can move on from this. We still got 15 more games. But the fact that this mobile quarterback problem it's been a consistent problem for a while now. It really concerns me. And we got to fix our shit, get our shit together. So, yeah, I keep losing track of fantasy. But anyways, I'll just finish it off. You check 5.8. And then the rest of the guys had 0. I don't have Jordan Reed on my team, so I'll have to check him out right now. I know there's a few guys that don't have my team. Jordan Reed, 3.2 points. But yeah, that's all for fantasy. Not that good, as always. So, yeah, I mean, fantasy doesn't matter at all. I just like to do that for fun. But, yeah, it's just not a good game overall, as you can tell by everything. If you watch the game, looked at fantasy stats, everything just tells that this was just not a good game at all for us. We did not deserve to win this game. So anyways, we're going to have to look forward to week 2 at the Jets. This should be a win. I said the Cardinals should be a win. Obviously, it wasn't. I'm not surprised by that because this team always dominates us. The Jets game should be a win, though. And I know they played well against Buffalo today, but the way they match up against us, like, we should be able to beat this team. I know Buffalo's rush, I think their pass defense isn't necessarily the best. But we gotta get our stuff we just gotta get together. They're more of a passing team. I don't know if Le'Veon's gonna do that well this year. So yeah, I mean, I think we can win this game. Our defense really has to step it up. Jimmy G obviously has to step it up. And if he wants to step it up, this is the perfect defense to do it against. This is a defense that's struggled. They don't have Mosley. They don't have Jamal Adams, who went off to, by the way, Jamal Adams, what a game from him. And I know I don't like to talk about the Seahawks that much, but that's exactly the reason why I made that video on him, where I said Jamal Adams would be a perfect fit. And boy, would he have been nice today. I mean, now we got to face him twice with Russell Wilson. It would have been so much nicer just having him on this team, facing Russell Wilson instead and facing Kyler Murray. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks that, yes, we have to face him against Seattle. But anyways, back to the Jets. It's just a weak team overall. I forget what was the score today. Bills, Jets score. It was 27-17. And they really got, I think they got 7 of those points from a long Jamison Crowder touchdown who just torched that defense on that one play. So, yeah, I think we can definitely win that game. I think we should win that game. I think if we start off 0-2, that's going to be really concerning for us. It's going to cause some panic within the organization, I think. And you may see some changes on this team. I don't know what it's going to be, but I don't know. Maybe we have to bring in another receiver like we did last year with Sanders, or maybe dare I say it, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo gets benched. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm probably just overreacting to everything that happened today, but it's so concerning after what happened today with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I was so high on him this year, and that hype just all fell off for me. Like, I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I that's all I really got to say about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I've talked about him so many times. I keep restating myself. So, anyways, I'm just gonna end the video right here. That's all I really have to say. I keep restating myself, so I'm just gonna end the video here. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Niner Sam. My Instagram's at NinerWire_YT. I'll be tweeting out a lot about this game later on. The ripple effect of that. We'll be talking about the game tonight. 2 games Monday night, which I'm looking forward to. So make sure to follow us there. And I'll see you guys next